Good morning, guys. I just signed up for my first vaccination for COVID-19. My vaccination date is actually with Cindy. I'm praying and hoping that this is all in God's hands, but I took off my nails this morning because one of them popped off yesterday because I was trying to open a White Claw, and so like it loosened it up and it popped off when I was just like doing absolutely nothing. Now my little baby hands are back and I have my long crusty nails. As you can see, I'm in my beauty room. It's a mess right now. I've been filming like crazy and I have pimple cream all over my face. I'm about to film right now and I have to keep up with my 5-day-a-week posting. It's crazy. I can't believe I'm like doing this, but I love it. It feels so powerful. Little did I know that tomorrow would end up being one of the most terrifying days of my life. Good morning, guys. It is now the day of, actually the morning of Cindy and I's appointment to go get vaccinated. I don't know, but I'm gonna go do it. Cindy just can't find her keys, so hopefully we're not late, but I have a really scary story to tell you guys in a second. Okay, y'all, I literally look crazy right now because I just woke up, but Cindy and I cannot find her keys at all, and like how I told you guys, her car is always in front of mine for the most part, and we can't find our keys, so we just didn't go to the appointment. But there is something that happened last night to us that makes like complete sense, so I'll tell you guys in a second when I'm not like freaking. I had the worst day yesterday, and basically what happened was, okay, I'm next to two people and they're looking at me. I hate when this happens. All jokes aside, yesterday was one of the worst days ever. I'm headed over to go pick up this gift that I got for my sister, doing secret shopping sprees for her, and then I give them to her and I love seeing her reaction. But she's been wanting these demonia boots for so long, and I got her a piece of jewelry that she's been wanting. We are currently in traffic right now. Finally got home. I've been in the car trying to get home for the past 2 hours. These are the demonias. She's gonna be so hyped. Oh my god, these are gorgeous. So she's actually an 8.5, but for some reason they don't go by halves. There's only full sizes. The quality is absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna go inside, show these to her, say hi to my parents. Who's excited? Who's excited? Let's wait. Are you in love? 1 through 1,000, how in love are you? Ah! 420. 420. To continue the story that you guys have been waiting for, I'm just really glad that I allowed myself to feel better about the situation, because yesterday and the day before, like Cindy and I were just in like shambles. Like it was just, we were having terrible day, like just terrible day. The night that it happened, it was scary. I'm just gonna pretty much start from the top. Cindy was streaming and I was just editing a video in my bed, and then all of a sudden I heard some keys downstairs like jumbling, like as if somebody was to get home. But first of all, Cindy was in her room, and then I told myself, I was like, no, Cindy probably just like went to go pick up something from like 7-Eleven. Like she probably just came back, and maybe like it just sounds like she's up here, but she's not. Your mind is always trying to protect yourself. So of course I was like in fear first, because I was like, oh my god, like I don't know if what I'm hearing is like for real. Like I'm getting the chills just talking about it. Like I'm actually like, at first I was like, what is that? I started getting scared. I like immediately closed my door, I locked it, turned off my lights, literally frozen. Oh my gosh, the chills are coming back. Then I'm just like wondering to myself, like, how am I gonna escape? Like I'm literally gonna like jump off my freaking house. Like I can't. And like I was just like more worried for the fact that like Armani, like my puppy, was going to not make it. Like if I was to have to escape, I would literally like crush his little bones. Like he's tiny. And so I was like, oh my god, like how can I get him safe? Like I'll be the one that's hurt and then he'll be okay. And I don't know, like so many things were going through my mind. And then I was like, Idette, you're literally so paranoid. Like you think that something is always going on. Like that's literally me. Like I always think something's going on. So I'm like very aware of my surroundings at all times. I have ears of a hawk. Like literally I can hear from super far away. I was just like kind of sitting there like literally in the dark, and it just kind of sounded like there's a creak of the door a little bit, like very lightly, and then I just heard the keys, and I was like, oh my god. So then I immediately text Cindy and I'm telling her what's going on. Felt like she didn't really like believe me like that, because I feel like Cindy a lot of the times thinks that I'm like exaggerating, but Cindy did get scared. She like immediately like shut her door and locked it. And then I was texting Sophie, and then she was like, oh my god, dude, like call the cops. And I was like I was like in such shock that I was even too scared to call the cops. I don't know. I was like, what if like I call the cops and then it was like a false alarm and then I look dumb? So many things going on through my head, and I was just like, I'm so like flustered. And after 3 hours, I kind of started like easing down, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna be fine. Like I just continued editing my video. Actually, backtrack. I tweeted out saying like what had happened. I'm gonna put it right here. and people were saying like, don't tweet that, like da 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 da, and I was just like, okay. So then I took it down. About to go to sleep, I was still on my phone for a little bit, and then Cindy turns on the lights because I think she like got hungry, so she had to go downstairs to cook, and she kind of like was another impression that nobody was there, which nobody actually ended up being there anymore, at least. So I'm just gonna insert the clip of her like messing around, like saying like, oh, show yourself.
Show yourself right now. In the name of the Lord, I command you to show yourself. I think we're good.
So when she did that, like, I just kind of was more at ease, and I was like, oh my god, it was like totally in my head. After like 30 minutes, she was like done cooking, and then shortly after, I needed to put like something to wash, and it was like literally like 1 a.m, but sometimes I just do random things. Like, I go downstairs and the door is open. Keep in mind, I always shut the door because like I said, I'm a paranoid person. Whenever I'm like walking Armani, I make sure to shut the door, like literally lock it. Like, I'll check like several times, and the garage is always like locked. Like, everything's literally all locked. When I saw that it was open, it wasn't wide open, but it was like open, like, you know, when the door is like slightly open. So I was like, okay. And then my mind again, trying to protect myself, I was like, maybe like when I walked Armani, like I didn't close it. I know 1,000% for a fact, now that my head is clear, I know 1,000% I did not leave it open. I never do. And then we also have like a key thing that we used to keep like on the wall where we would hold our keys, and Cindy always leaves her keys right there. So I'm looking at the door and it's open, and I'm like freaking out, and I'm just like, I kind of freeze for a little bit, and I just like lock it. I'm like, okay, maybe this is just like my fault. So I was like, okay, whatever. I go and do whatever I need to do. I go back upstairs and I just go to sleep. In the morning, we have an appointment to go get vaccinated. It's like 7:30 in the morning, and Cindy and I are like rushing because the place is like almost an hour away. So then Cindy's like half asleep. I'm also half asleep, and she's like, wait, I can't find my keys. And her car was behind mine, since we have a garage where like our cars are like in front and behind of each other. So mine was blocked, and her car was the only one that we're gonna use because hers was behind mine. Her keys were not in there. We looked through the windows, her keys were not there. And so we were literally looking through the whole entire house. We did not find it. We literally even looked like in the fridge. We looked in like the randomest like spots that we would never even put keys. And she looked all over her room. Like, literally, I even looked in my room. Like, I don't know why they would be in there, but we looked every inch of the house. They're gone. Like, they're literally gone. And her keys are very visible because she has like a bright blue like keychain on it. Then we're just like super confused, like we're blaming ourselves, and I was like, Cindy, last night did I not tell you that I heard keys jumbling? Her and I just kind of like sat there and we're like, oh my gosh. And then I had told her in the morning, I was like, dude, like the door was open. The door is literally next to where you put your keys. But what doesn't make sense is like, why did this person come in and take her keys, and that was it? And they also made sure to lock her car. It just Cindy's yelling again. It doesn't make sense. So now we're taking like extra 10 million trillion time precautions like than even before. And then moving forward to the rest of the day, we're just like, oh my god, because Cindy couldn't get to work, she couldn't get to all of her lash appointments, and then I had literally like 4 appointments. Like, I had to get up, do my vaccine with her, then I had a waxing appointment, and then immediately after that I had a spa appointment that was actually like something that I was going to, you know, like be filming, and it was like actual work. Wasn't able to do that. I was able to take an Uber, but it was already like too late by that time. And I can't go anywhere because my car is in front of Cindy's, and Cindy is behind me with her keys stolen, her car locked. So we literally cannot go anywhere. So then it comes down to nighttime, and okay guys, I'm just like freaking myself out. So then it comes down to nighttime. It's like 7 p.m. and I am already leaving to go do a podcast, which is the last thing I was supposed to do, with my friend Sophie, because she is releasing a podcast, which is super exciting. First episode is gonna be with me. So I'm literally like 5 minutes away from Sophie's house, which is like an hour away with traffic, which is crazy. LA's traffic is freaking insane. Cindy is like, hey, like, basically in a nutshell, like that I walked her out because I was the only one with the key, because we only have like our garage keys because something happened with our keys, blah blah blah, but we got that fixed. We have our keys, whatever. Then she was like, hey, like tell the Uber to go back, and I was just like, oh my god. And then the Uber was like, oh, I can't take you back because I'm going home. So I was like, so then I was like, okay, me being nice, like I literally should have told him like, hey, like drive me back, but I don't know, I'm too nice, I can't do that. Like, I can't. So I was like, okay, I understand. So then I had to wait till I get to Sophie's house. And then I told Sophie, I was like, hey, like, can you do me the biggest favor and take me back home and then drive me back, because Cindy like got locked out because I had the only key. And it's because Cindy was coming home from work and she already had the locksmiths there, like ready to prepare like the keys and stuff, but all of them couldn't get in. So literally Cindy was locked out of the house with the locksmiths for about like an hour, because it took me another freaking hour for me to get back home. But when I got to Sophie, she was like, oh my god, I can't find my driver's license. And I was like, oh my god, okay. So then I tried to call Ubers, and then all the Ubers were canceling on me. I don't know why Uber does that. And like I tried to call a Lyft, but then the Lyft was taking like 10, 15, 20 minutes to even get to me. And I was like, oh my god, I'm freaking out. And then we finally found her ID, and then we were able to go, and it just like, it was so much. But shout out to Sophie, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have made it, because it just would have been way longer with Uber. I finally got home. I sprinted over to the door and I was like, here's the key. I'm so sorry. And she was like, oh my god, it's okay. And they got the locksmith situation done, and like, so we're all good with that. I went back to Sophie's house, which is like an hour. We get back to her house. We filmed the podcast after like 3 hours of like being in her house, because we're doing like other stuff. And then I finally get back home at 1 a.m. Now, before we finish the video, after I filmed this clip, I actually realized that I was looking for my backpack, and I needed it because I was gonna go travel. So when I looked downstairs for my backpack, which is usually at the corner of the garage at the entrance, I was looking for it. I couldn't find it at all. And I remembered the day before when Cindy was asking me about the locksmith, she was calling me and asking me, hey, like, do you have the keys? And I was like, actually, yeah, they're in my pink backpack. They're here in the garage. And she was like, oh, I can't find it. And then she looked all over the house. She couldn't find that backpack. And that backpack is literally the only place I ever left my keys, my house keys at. And then it clicked. I was like, I can't find it anywhere right now the next day. And she couldn't find it yesterday. And that just means that is how the burglar was getting into our house, because he had already gone into our house before, got my backpack, which had my stuff. He probably picked up the backpack thinking that it had valuables in it, and found our house keys, unlocked our door the next day, and then robbed us. That's the story, guys. That's the full story, and I thank you guys for being so concerned. I'm just thankful that Cindy and I are okay. A lot of people are saying to like file a police report. It was a really crazy moment, and I'm just so thankful that God was watching over me and Cindy, and that's all that really matters. Armani growled like as soon as he heard like the keys jumble, so I knew that it was in our house. It wasn't our neighbor. Like our walls were very thin. Like I can literally hear my neighbor's conversation. God bless all you guys watching this video. I love you guys so much. Please stay safe, guys. Be very aware of your surroundings, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.